We back in here. We in the building. We in the building. What's going on, everybody? So I had to redo this stuff. I don't know. I had my other phone turned on, so I don't know if it fucked up with the volume, but it was actually not. It was mad echoey and shit, so I had to stop and do it all over again. So I'm gonna give it a few minutes if it's some people to come in and shit. I'm still working on HK shit. Should be ready for tomorrow. So tomorrow night I should be able to drop that. HK should be all done by tomorrow night. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Brish? So yeah, I should have that that HK story should be all done by tomorrow night. Yeah, I know. I tried to go up there and it was doing something. It was mad. Like people told me they couldn't hear me and shit, so I had to cancel it and go over again. So yeah, we're about to continue last week's, but yeah, I'm about to do that right now. Let me see how I do that. I don't know how to do it. Yo, let me try to. If you know it, see if you could put it up there, Brish. It's and I'll just pin it. It's $ omegadrip. That's my cash app for everybody. Those who want to support, I appreciate it. And if you can't, that's all good. You can just drop a like, drop a comment. Fuck with your boy. You know how we do. Yeah, I don't know how the hell I'm doing here. Visible, none. Now you can hear me. Yeah, I had to do it over. I don't know if it was my other phone that ended up it was messing with the sound and shit. Yeah, so I don't know. Unless I actually go on my other phone and do it, but I don't want to go on my other phone and do it and then mess up the sound again. So if you can do it for me, Brish, I appreciate it. I think you know. I just gave it to you a minute ago, right? So yeah, I'm finishing up the HK shit. I was busy today, so I wasn't able to finish it today. So I should be able to finish it by tomorrow night at the latest. It's pretty much all written. I just got to record a lot of the other stuff. Pretty much do the background, do the rest of the story, read that out. Pretty much say everything else is going with it, and I'll finish that. So hopefully I'll drop it by tomorrow afternoon. That'll be ready, the HK story. And the funny thing is, I've been looking around, right, and I haven't really seen one like decent good story on HK yet. If y'all don't know who HK is, that's T. Roy's little brother, King Vaughn's best friend, T. Roy, or his little brother. So I'm doing a story on him, and actually I haven't really seen a good one out there yet. You know what I mean? And it's kind of interesting that nobody hasn't really done one on him yet. So I don't mean to sound cocky, but I think I might have the best one coming out. The way it's looking and the way the story's going and this, that, and the third is going to be interesting. So that story is going to be pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Like I said last week, I reached out to a few people out in Chicago and a few other sources I have, and a lot of people kind of confirm, you know what I mean? Confirm a lot of the stuff I was saying and a lot of information I got. So it's going to be actually pretty interesting. It's just one thing that it's kind of like, you know, like not, I don't know. It's one thing about it that I'm not too sure about, but I'm going to also drop it towards the end, and then we'll just put it out there and we'll figure out, you know, how we want to take it. You know, we'll just pretty much make up our minds as far as it's going to go. Oh, okay. Why? Is it, you guys can't really hear me still? Like, how's the volume? I don't know. Let me see. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up pretty much just finishing it, putting it up there by tomorrow. I was going to finish it today. I was actually going to finish today, but I was busy. I was doing a few things. Oh, all right. Thanks, Carla. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm going to finish it by tomorrow. I was a little busy. I was doing a few family things today or whatnot. I was out doing a few things, getting some things done and shit. So I wasn't able to finish it today. But it's almost, the whole story is done. It's gonna be a two-part series. So the whole story is pretty much done. I just gotta record the voices behind it. The music's already done. The whole video, the whole script is already put out there. I just gotta finish it. So I'm gonna make sure I have it done by tomorrow. So that's how I'm gonna do it. Tomorrow night I'll drop it or whatever. I'm gonna answer a question. During the week, I'll drop a community service post, and I usually ask people to drop their questions during the week. So anybody who has any questions, they could drop it during the week on my community post, and I'll answer it. So I put up a community post. I didn't get too many questions, so I don't know if a lot of people missed it or what it is, but it's all good. I got one interesting question, which is good. We could get into this question, and then I'm gonna get to this. We get into the story, continue from last week. The question was, it was from Brisha. It was why do I think it's important for gangs to have a structure, right? And the reason why I think it's important for gangs to have a structure is because if you think about it, right? Oh, okay. I thought it was actually my phone. So yeah, if you think about it, right? Gangs is something that at the end of the day, they were created to protect the community and protect certain races and stuff like that. So when gangs first came about, they were made pretty much to protect the environment, right? To protect the community. And there wasn't meant for like violence and like selling drugs and do all this negative shit, right? So most gangs, for what I know, they have laws, they have rules and regulations, things that they shouldn't do, things that, you know what I'm saying? Like pretty much like stuff that they could do or can't do and what they're allowed to do and not to do. So from the get-go, they was not supposed to be getting into a whole lot of shit, right? For example, my peoples, there was no such thing as like doing drugs, selling drugs in the community. Yeah, it was pretty much to protect the community, protect your friends, you know what I'm saying? And your surroundings, your neighborhoods and shit like that, and your peoples, because you had certain races moving into certain areas, certain cities, and they were getting attacked on the way from school and away from work and shit like that. So from the beginning, they was not made for violence, for attacking each other, and this, that, and the third, right? So therefore, when drugs started coming in and they started dealing drugs and shit like that, what happened was, okay, so now you got dudes going against each other over territory, over money, and it became a whole mess. But every time there was a gang that had any leaders and had any structures, you got to remember, it was almost like having a dad in the house, right? So the gang it has the higher ups or whatever, and it has a whole group, it has a whole committee. It's almost like politics, right? So they pretty much pass down laws, rules, and regulations, and then you got the little ones, they got to follow through. If they don't follow through, they get disciplined. And when you got more than 50, 100, 200, 300 people making decisions, you got 7 people who's in charge, you know, for the money, for the missions, for in charge of making decisions for the gang, right? When you have that going on, you will get violated. Exactly. So, boom, they'll call you out. It's like a court. You know what I'm saying? You'll get brought up on charges and you could get in trouble. And therefore, you got shorties moving right. You won't be able to be all that bringing stolen cars in the neighborhood, committing crimes in the neighborhood, stealing from your neighbors. All that shit was a no-no. So when you got dudes like ops shooting at ops with like their kids in the car or with their girls, they really do. A lot of them still do, and that's crazy because for example, like in Chicago, you got all the leaders ended up getting locked up. They ended up going to jail. So now they're in jail, and then you got people in the same gang branching off to different sets. They branch off to different sets, and then what happens is this: you got the same gang going against each other. Like back in the days, if you would have had a leader, you would not have GDs from like Georgia were beefing with GDs from like Gyro City because they would all had a report every weekend. You know what I'm saying? They report to what's it called? Some of them call it church, some of them call it meetings, whatever it is, but they all meet together. All the members know each other. All the members got to report. All the members got to pay dues. All the members got to follow rules. If one of them gets called up or brought up on the charges, they will have to get dealt with. You get violated, you could get beat up, you could get bounced, whatever the case may be. This is for educational purposes only. So we just talking about what it is going on with the gangs and what they could do different. So I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. So when you have somebody committing a crime against an older person, that was a no-no. When you got somebody like this all got brought about. This situation happened in Dallas. When you had somebody who robbed the bank, ran up on the car, there was a baby in the car, and they tried to steal the car with the baby in the car. And I posted that a few days ago, right? The cops shot into the car and actually shot the little baby boy. Last time I checked, he was still in intensive care in the hospital fighting for his life. That would have been a no-no, even though he might still get dealt with when he goes to jail. But that type of shit with leaders in the neighborhood, with leaders in the gangs, even though, it sounds crazy, but I'd rather have leaders and have some type of structure and some type of shit organized where the gangs are not going to be letting these younger kids run around and doing all this crazy shit. Look at what happened with Honeycomb's grandparents. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy story. I don't want to get deeply into the conspiracy theories and all the crazy shit they talking. But, yeah, they robbed the bank. So I will not see my ops and shoot at him if he's with his baby or his girl or his grandmother. I wouldn't go shoot up his house. You know what I'm saying? With his mom in there, his baby mother in there, his kids. All that would have been a no-no. I would not be bringing heat into my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they was probably still doing negative things like selling drugs, but at the end of the day, they're not forcing the drugs on people, or they're dealing drugs, but people is actually coming to buy it. So it is what it is. But there won't be such things as dealing drugs to like a pregnant woman, or like pushing drugs into a young kid. If you see a young kid into drugs, dudes will take it from them and tell them it's a no-no. So this is why I say that a lot of these gangs with no structure, they're running wild, they're fighting each other. So think about it. If you got some type of structure and you have leaders, there'll be less fighting as far as like within the same gang, because you will get checked before it gets ugly. You will get checked at the door. So if I got into an argument with one of my gang members, as soon as we go Friday or Saturday, we better fix it on our own before it gets to the higher ups, because by the time the weekend comes and we end up meeting or whatever the case may be, it's going to get brought up, and it's going to be either you guys are going to fix it, you guys fix it, or y'all going to fix it, because there's no such thing as fighting against your brother. Now, either you want to be a tough guy and have to deal with the whole gang coming down on you, or either you're going to follow the rules and not fight one of your own gang members. Nowadays, there's so many different sets from one gang fighting each other that is crazy. So that's why I say there's going to be gangs anyways. You know what I'm saying? So why not just have the gangs have leaders and structure, so like that they can move right and not be moving with this knucklehead shit where motherfuckers is killing innocent people, where motherfuckers is robbing, leaving stolen cars in the neighborhood. All that back in the days would have been a no-no, because you was not able to bring heat into the neighborhood and be getting into all this shit that goes on nowadays, right? Make sure y'all drop that like on the way in, yo. So this is why I said there should be structure, and I wouldn't be mad if a lot of the leaders was to be still out and running the gangs. But to be honest, if a lot of these leaders was to be let out, they probably won't even make it long. You know what I'm saying? And they won't, because they have a lot of power, and they'll have to move and they'll have to move real careful, because they'll be so quick to want to get taken out by their own gang, because a lot of dudes is already moving and they're already used to moving a certain way. They wouldn't want to have no leaders, because if I'm moving around with my little block, right? We from such and such area, we moving around with my block, and I'm already like the leader of that little, you know what I'm saying, that little crew or whatever the case may be. What's up, Javi? I see you. So I wouldn't want, you know what I'm saying, have to report to nobody. I'm already got my little clique. I already got my little set up in my little spot. You know what I'm saying? So it would be very hard for one of these leaders to come home and actually take control and put it back in effect. But if everybody was to ride with it, and all the little leaders from all the little neighborhoods was to get on board things could get back on track. Because I've seen leaders come home and move right because they're gonna be pressure for their position. People's not gonna want the whole new change and the boss coming around telling them what to do. So they'll be threatened by that, and they will try to take them out and then play stupid like they don't know who took them out. You know what I mean? Because they don't want no leaders over them. But to begin with, that's why I say it wouldn't be bad to have these guys report to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because it is too far gone by now. It'll be hard. But from the beginning, that's why they don't mind locking these dudes up and allowing them to just go away, because they know it's gonna without a head, it's just gonna run crazy and people is gonna do whatever they want to do. They're gonna kill each other. It's all about, you know what I'm saying, doing a bunch of crazy shit. And a lot of the government, they don't want these motherfuckers to be out because they know that if they have some type of authority, that there'll be less crimes on each other. Because back in the days, like the movie Colors and all this other shit, yo, you would have people you have gang leaders meeting with gang leaders to stop the violence. You know what I'm saying? They'll have like 30 days, no shootouts, fire seas and all that shit. And you can actually see that for periods of time, they won't be. Because if I'm a leader of my gang, I'll tell my people, yo, guns is up. We got a peace treaty. This is not happening. We're not doing this against these other people. And yeah, it didn't always work out, but it will be a lot more structure going on. There'll be a lot of more, less crime, less, you know what I'm saying? Especially against innocent people. If you're going to have all these motherfuckers running crazy, killing each other, doing whatever they want to do, so be it. Because that's the life they signed up for. That's what they're going to do. I understand that, right? But when you have somebody being, what up, Swag? When you got somebody being saved because they know they're not supposed to fight against somebody who's innocent, rob somebody, innocent person coming down the street, you know what I'm saying? They gonna think twice before they do that shit. You know what I mean? But now, like Bridget said, it's gonna be too far going to the point where you're gonna have motherfuckers not listening and it's just too much. You know what I mean? But that's why I said what I said in one of those videos. And I said if there was some structure, it would probably be a lot more, less crime on innocent people that ain't signed up for that type of shit. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by that. Swag or Brish, one of you guys can pin or just put up the Cash App up there. And I know somebody asked me earlier, I think it was Brish, said to pin my Cash App. I didn't know I didn't do it earlier or whatever. I didn't want to do it from my other phone. I didn't want to mess up the live or whatnot. But it's $ Omega Drip. And those who are coming in, hit the like. Cash App is up. If you could donate, that'll be great. If not, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Anything helps as far as like likes, comments, just sitting here with me. It's all good, you know what I'm saying? But Brish asked me to put it up earlier, so I just want to make sure I put it up there. But I don't know how to do this right now. I messed up doing it earlier, so $ Omega Drip. Somebody could put it up. I'll try to pin it as it goes up. I appreciate it. So yeah, we're about to continue with last week's. Make sure you hit that like on the way in. This is for educational purposes. We're not glorifying violence or any gang shit. We just want to learn something from whatever it is that I'm going to speak. You know what I'm saying? Good luck. So I'm going to pin that. And boom, 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 boom. It's not even allowing me to pin it. What the fuck? Anyways, it's up there, whatever. So I don't want to keep getting interrupted by trying to unpin it or whatever. If y'all hear somebody screaming, that's my... Oh, okay, I see both of y'all put it up there. Move. Okay, I can't pin it. I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyways, so last week I was saying how everything happened, right? As far as like me, I explained how I went into the county and then I pretty much left off where I went from the county and I got sentenced. Okay, so I was in the county last week. I was pretty much, for those who didn't see it, you can go back and watch part 1, part 2, part 3. I pretty much give you some of my life stories. So those, you know what I'm saying, that are subscribed to my channel and part of the family now, because I don't really consider my subscribers, right? I always say we're family, we're a movement, using this platform to, you know, learn something and reach the world some way, somehow, right? That's our goal. So anyways, I ended up leaving off where I was saying how I ended up turning myself in, and I didn't even turn myself in. What am I talking about? I was my second bid. I appreciate the Cash App, Brish. I appreciate that. Thank you for the Cash App. Brish always comes through. I appreciate that. If there's anything you want me to talk about, you know, anyways, you know how we do. We're a fam. You hit me with any questions or any certain posters and shit. You know how we do it. So, boom, I was in the county. I was the kid I was beefing with. We ended up getting really cool, whatever, whatever. Boom, I copped out. Now I'm sentenced. They send me up the way. I get picked up. They tell me, boom, they come to my cell. They tell me, yo, your name, blah, blah, blah. You gotta go up the way, right? So I pack my shit. Now my man is like, damn, he leaving. We was beefing with, you know what I'm saying? We was beefing hard in the streets, and we ended up turning to be real close. We was tight, you know what I'm saying? After being there for like 6 months, being the only ones from the same town, talking to each other about, you know, going back, talking about certain things that was happening in the streets or whatever. We ended up growing closer. And it's crazy because, like I say, you never know who's going to be your peoples, because at the end of the day, me and this kid wanted to kill each other. Some of my peoples had this, some stuff to some of his people. Some of his people had this shit to some of my peoples. It got ugly for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So I was 17. Boom. When I caught that shooting case or whatever, boom, I got locked up. I went through the county. I was there for like 6 months, go back and forth from court, you know what I'm saying, trying to fight for less time or whatever, right? So boom, now I get 3.5 or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? I copped out to a lesser charge. I copped out to an assault instead of an attempt. And I took that, ran up the way. I was 17, I was a juvenile. My first time in, I was locked up before that for a few times, but it was dumb shit. It was just in and out, juvenile, or whatever the case may be. So now I'm 17, I take the 3.5. Back then it was 85% on any violent crime, so it was no such thing as 50% like a lot of other states. So mind you, like I said, I was getting ready to be a dad. I was not even there. She was about 6 months pregnant, so I missed all that. So what happens is now I go up the way. As soon as I go up the way, I'm going to a youth facility, right? Because I'm still a juvenile. So I go to a youth facility, and it's like, it's bad. Because any facility where you got to go, where it's actually, yeah, a lot of places is 50%. But back then in Connecticut, when we have Rowland as a governor, it was 85%. They were doing 85% on any violent crime. They just recently, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they just recently dropped it, I think, to like 50%. I could be wrong, but I know that they were doing federal time, pretty much. Hit that like on the way in. But it's not bad. I got 4 people in. I got 4 likes. That's cool. I can deal with that. That's 100%, right? So boom, I come in. I get sent up the way. Boom, when I get sent out the way, you gotta go through assessment. Now you sitting up there with shit with niggas you see on TV. You know what I'm saying? So some places, if it's non-violent, if it's like non-violent drug cases, they do 50%. So boom, I'm doing that. I go up the way. They gave me my assessment, whatever. That's when I saw the kid I was locked up for. The kid I was actually, you know what I'm saying, I got locked up that I was beefing with. That's when he was up there. The adults will go up there. I had to go through there to go through assessment, high bond, attempted murders, $1 million bonds, shit you see on TV. I don't know if y'all remember the Connecticut Cheshire couple where the guys ran in the house and then they kidnapped the family, and this is for educational purposes, y'all. They kidnapped the family, took the wife to the bank, Dr. Pettit. I think that was his name. The guys that did that, and then they actually, you know what I'm saying, like raped the wife and the daughter, and then they burnt the house down. This happened like 8 years ago or some shit like that in Connecticut. It was national. It was like crazy. So those type of cases, they go through that jail, right? Those type of people where they're in PC, you see them walking through, the whole jail gets shut down for them to just walk through to go to medical and shit like that. Yeah, it's crazy. You gotta look it up. It's the Dr. Pettit in Connecticut. His wife and his 2 daughters. They were burnt down in the house. 2 guys tried to go in the house and rob them, and they kept them tied up in the house. They took them and took the wife to try to get money out the bank, and then they didn't get what they needed. They robbed they burnt the house down. The doctor was able to escape with his life. His wife and daughters didn't make it. It was crazy. So anyway, those type of dudes I seen in there, you know what I'm saying? But they were in PC. They were like put in the whole protected custody section. So, and this is after anyways, but I was locked up and I seen those dudes. So they bring me through there, and that's when I see the kid that I was actually beefing with. He was up there. He was facing I think it was 2 attempted murder and assault first, some shit like that. So I seen him, in, you know, me bugging out, still being ignorant, whatever. I wanted to get at him. but we was in separate blocks. I was already going up the way sentenced, and he was non-sentenced, still going to court. He was a high bond, but that's where I saw him. So anyways, I go through there. I see a bunch of wild shit, bunch of crazy motherfuckers coming through there, this, that, and the third, educational purposes, y'all. So once I go through there, you sit there about a month. Once they draw your blood, they take x-rays, dentists, eye doctors. You know, they pretty much medically evaluate you based on your crime and your levels, everything, and then they send you to whatever jail they think you qualify to go, right? So boom, they send you to whatever jail, level 4, level 5. Obviously, I had a violent crime. I was just starting off, so they sent me straight to a level 4. Boom, I go to the youth jail or whatever. I'm come through there. Like I said, I already had a reputation from the streets. I had a lot of niggas up there, so I was already kind of straight as far as coming through there. But at the end of the day, you never straight because you always gotta, deal with your shit. So I come through there. As soon as I came through there, the nigga that was running my set was my nigga from the streets. He was running shit, whatever the case may be. I come through there. As soon as I come through there, I hit the blocks, whatever. I'm good. I sign up for the program that I got to do. This got violent crime, so it's more like a tier 4. It's like a drug program. And parole and assessment and the other jail was in, that's what they assign you to do. For you to be able to make parole, you got to sign up for this type of shit. And you got to complete it, because once you go in front of the board, if you don't got this type of shit that they assign you to do, stipulated you to do, you won't get parole. So I signed up for that. Now I'm trying to do things to the point where I could try to get out when I go out in front of the board. I don't want to end up sitting, having to do the whole time. I want to get parole and get out, right? So I'm trying to sign up for all this shit. But I'm still young. I'm running around, still doing my thing. I'm still in the gang. I'm still running wild. So as soon as I come in, there's people from my set. My niggas is running shit. A few niggas from my town is running shit. So, boom, as soon as I come in, like I said, I was always blessed to come in good situations, whether I was doing good in life or bad in life. I was always blessed. God always had my back, and that's crazy. When I look back at it, you know what I'm saying? Because I was always put in positions where I was put in positions to win, right? So even if they were bad, it's crazy, right? So, boom, I coming through there, my man is running shit. So off the bat, within 30 days, I was already in a position where I was part of the committee as far as being part of my set. So if you got about 7 people, 5 people who's the leaders of that set, I was already part of the whole table, you know what I'm saying? The round table, if that's what you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I was already off the bat, because you got to remember, you got dudes that become what they become in there, right? So when they become gang members in there, they don't have a long history. They don't have a lot of knowledge. When you come from the streets and you got a reputation, you know your shit, you know your history, you know how to carry yourself, you know how to be a leader, and this, that, and the third. It's easy, you know what I'm saying? With the charges I had and the reputation I had coming from the streets, it was easy for me to quickly get a position. I got connections to the higher ups and other jails. You know what I'm saying? My godbrother, who I got in my arm, he was one of the top bosses of the whole state and the older jail. So we used to write letters back and forth to each other. We couldn't write letters from jail to jail, but we used to write letters. Like, I'll write a letter to his mom, and his mom will put it in a different envelope and mail it to him with one of her letters. And then the same thing, we'll go back and forth. We'll just talk with codes and talk in a way where it won't get picked up. Like, they won't notice it was a letter from another jail, right? From another inmate, because he could get in trouble. But that's how we used to get messages across from jail to jail and stuff like that. Or sometimes through other inmates, you send little kites. If somebody's going into another jail, you already know he's going to a jail that he's already pretty much, I might go up the way to a jail where you know somebody else that you know is at. You send a kite, that's like a little note. You send it up the way. You be like, yo, give it to such and such when you get up there. So my man was running shit. And as soon as I got in there, he already gave me a spot. He gave me a spot. I was already in a position where I was running shit along with them, right? So what happens is, now like a month and a half after I got there, boom, they put me from the blocks with all the niggas with bodies, robberies, life, and all them niggas that I'm in there with. From that block, they put me in the program block where I got to do the programs to be able to make sure I get parole, right? So my man's telling me like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to leave soon. I'm turning 19. Like around 19, I think they got you up out of there. Boom. So he was leaving because he already had come up of age, right? So they were sending him to an adult jail. So, boom, he leaves. As soon as he leaves, my man moves up. I move up. I'm like second or third in charge, right? but I'm basically running the whole shit. Because anytime we sat on the table and we had to talk and making the decisions, you know what I'm saying, my voice, my shit went a long way. So, you know what I'm saying, I was basically running shit even though I was in number one yet, right? So my man leaves, he leaves me in charge. He doesn't leave me in charge. I move up. My other man moved up. He was in charge. So he's the thing is that they do read them, but at the end of the day, if you really hot, they read them. But if I'm writing a letter and I'm not talking real crazy and I'm talking in codes, they will just give it to him. And I never really had any trouble, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times you gotta really be hot and shit like that. And my man was hot, but it wasn't to the point where they was reading his letters. And we was talking in code. So at the end of the day, and nothing really crazy ever happened. And I was able to send messages across, send it to his mama sent it to him. She'll put it in there, one of her letters and one of my letters. The only thing is I'll try to write the first few paragraphs like I was really writing from the streets, and then in between I'll get into a few different codes, this, that, and third, and have a normal conversation with them like that. So a lot of times it was just like they don't really sit there and read the whole letter unless you was real hot. He was hot, but not to the point where I don't think they was thinking he was sending any hits in the streets or anything. So they wasn't really reading his letters to the point where they were actually breaking the codes or anything like that. Unlike, you know, like King Tone and them dudes in New York, where they actually, a lot of other people got their letters breaking down to the point where they got picked up by the feds, right? So it wasn't that serious, but I was able to get him through. So now I'm in there. Boom, my man moves up. He leaves. I move up, but I'm still like second or third. But I think I was second. So now I'm going to church. I'm handling shit. I'm making sure I got lieutenants in any different block. I got lieutenants in every different block. Shit is running smooth. Money's running smooth. I'm making sure niggas do what they gotta do. But I was in the type of leader that I was on some power tripping shit, right? I'll make sure I tell dudes like, yo, niggas handle business if they need to handle business. But I want niggas to handle and concentrate on going home, right? Make sure you do what you gotta do, get back home. And I wasn't really, because at the end of the day, you can't tell me, you gotta do bad, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, or you're gonna get in trouble, or you're gonna get in some shit. Because at the end of the day, that's not what it was built for. It was built to build you peoples, protect you peoples, and move up, right? So that's not what it was built for. So at the end of the day, can't nobody say you're doing something wrong because you're preaching something good, right? So I will make sure I encourage motherfuckers to go to school, get their GEDs, you know what I'm saying, and get home instead of sitting there. There's other type of leaders that'll tell motherfuckers, like, you got to go do this because they got 20 years. They want to tell you to go do something that's going to get you another 10. They don't care. They got 20. They want to use the younger shorties. They only got 2-3 years in. You know what I'm saying? They want to use these younger dudes. They got 2-3 years to go commit crimes in jail and get another 10 and shit like that because they don't care. They feel like, oh, I came in, I put in work, now it's your time to put in work. Those are the type of motherfuckers that you gotta watch out for, right? Because if you're on the set and motherfuckers tell you they love you, but they're sending you to do a mission that's gonna put you in jail for another 5-10 years, how the fuck did he love you? How the fuck does he love you? You know what I'm saying? That's not love. That's why I always make sure I kept the eye on certain dudes and make sure I knew how I moved because you was not gonna get me to do a suicide mission. That's what I used to call it, suicide mission, right? So I would encourage dudes to do the right thing and go to school, this, down, and third. My man was number one, I was number two. Usually number one falls back, number two runs everything, but I ended up taking over the whole shit. He didn't want to, he felt like I was doing a better job and I was more qualified for the position, so I pretty much ended up taking over the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was straight. I mean, I was hot for a minute, and I ended up getting shipped out because I got so hot. And it kind of turned out to be a little bit better because I was no longer in a juvenile jail where I was getting myself into a bunch of shit. I had COs on the way to school in the morning. I had COs behind the main bubble on the glass window, banging on the window and just throwing up gang signs to me because they knew who I was with and who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be like, that's such and such, that's the leader of such and such. Boom. So in the morning, everybody got to school because we're juveniles. So they'll be sending everybody to school early in the morning. You watching motherfuckers like it will be me and like 5 motherfuckers on the hallway going to school. And motherfuckers will be they'll be watching. Like, that's such and such. All the ones behind him, they rep such and such. That one, that's such and such. And they'll be watching the whole movement, right? So, I got myself in a little bullshit, whatever. The shit started breaking up to where motherfuckers from my set was beefing with other motherfuckers from other sets. And then it got to the point where I was actually getting called in the lieutenant's office, getting butt up in there, taking me to SAG for no reason, just straight taking me to SAG, throwing me in the hole. If you don't know what SAG is, it's the hole. They would throw me in the hole because motherfuckers in another block that was with my set would be doing shit that niggas is knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they were doing shit that they didn't have the right to do, but at the moment they had to make a call, and they made the call they had to make at the time, and they were doing shit where I was getting in trouble for their shit. So they would bring me in there, pretty much say I'm on the investigation, put me in a hole for like 2 weeks, bring me back out, put me back in population, and shit like that. So now I'm trying to like stay out of trouble, but at the same time, I'm getting in a whole bunch of trouble based on what my niggas is doing. So it got crazy. It got out of hand because now I'm getting in trouble for for the shit they're doing, and it came to the point where they ended up picking me up, bring me back to the hole because these motherfuckers is I had a visit that day. We was in church, boom. We had some beef with some other niggas, so it was supposed to meet with their leaders or whatever the case may be. We in church, educational purposes, y'all. So we in church, and we meet with them niggas, whatever. One of my niggas touched one of his niggas. So now, their leader, the nigga got life. He got a body. He doesn't give a shit. I don't got life, but I'm the leader, right? But at the end of the day, I wasn't backing down. I knew what the fuck I had to do or not do. So we meet, and he's like, oh, your man's touched my man, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't supposed to go down like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, your man, you know what I'm saying, asked for what he asked. Nobody jumped him. If it was something where he would have got jumped, it would have been different because you're supposed to follow rules and guidelines and know what to do and not do, or move on certain people or not move on certain people. So therefore, it was a one-on-one. My man whipped this man. So take it for what it is, or what you gonna do? Go to war because he took an ass whipping on a one-on-one. So he pretty much need to back down from that. So I get called to a visit. I leave church. Boom, they call me to a visit, and I tell my right-hand man and my enforcer, you're next. Watch, you know what I'm saying? Keep our eye on what's going on. This conversation is going to continue next week, so you don't got to do nothing but just to make sure everything's straight. I tell my enforcer, keep niggas ready, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, in case anything happens. Yo, as soon as I get into the visit, not even 5 minutes into the visit, calls going into the radio. Motherfuckers is running, going crazy. All the COs is running. They set it off in church, started going crazy. It's like a small little riot in church, whatever the case may be. Them niggas started banging out, whatever, and I ended up getting called up. They took me back to the box, go back to the hole, and that's when they were like, yo, pretty much you're out of here. You gotta go. You need to control your peoples, this, that, and the third. So I wasn't saying shit. I was just like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. They was like, oh, okay, so you don't want to talk, you don't want to control your people. I control them enough to where I try to keep them out of trouble for the most part, but I can't control everything. You're in jail. It is what it is. Shit's gonna happen, right? Shit's gotta be handled at times. So that's what happened. So I ended up, now I went from juvenile to the adult shit. They bring me to the adult jail. Boom. I get shipped out of it was like a year, or I was like 18. You're supposed to get shipped out when you was like 19. So I get shipped out early. Boom. They shipped me out like a year early. They brought me back to the adult jail. As soon as I get up there, it was actually, I thought it was a lot better actually. So I thought it was better because it was more movement, it was more structure, it was more like, I don't know, I thought it was a lot better because you had an older mindset. You didn't have a bunch of young niggas running around going crazy, banging on the doors, and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, at that time, they were shutting off the power like 10 o'clock at night. So if you had a TV and shit like that, motherfuckers would shut the power off, and your TV was going off at a certain time. And it got crazy after a while in the juvenile jail. So I was no longer interested in really wanting to be there. I was ready to go up the way. So I was just like, yo, you know what? I'm ready to move up out of here. I'm getting into too much shit. So now I get moved up the way. So when I go up the way, is, you know what I'm saying? Now it's 18 and over, 19, whatever it is, and it's an adult jail. So now I'm up there. As soon as I come in through there, off the bat, this is like straight prison. Like, you got motherfuckers sitting on the door, looking through the bars and shit. Because it was the old school shit, so it was still looking like the old shit. So I come in through there, I'm only like 18. Motherfuckers is looking this, that, and the third. Boom, I come in through there, and same shit pretty much. Motherfuckers approach you, blah, blah, blah. You already know your people see you. My man that I used to write letters to, he was up there, but he was in another block. So as soon as I get up there, you know what I'm saying, I started doing my time, even though I was already like a year in. boom, I started really getting more comfortable with doing my time. You know, like it was more like prison though. It was more, you had to be more careful with the way you move and do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was certain dudes that were high profiles. You had to, you know what I'm saying, like walk to the chow hall. You had to be careful the way you move. Shower time, you know what I'm saying? They pop your doors for the shower. You had to have a piece on you in the shower. I used to have like educational purposes, y'all. I used to have like 2 soaps. I'll shower with a soap, and I have another soap. Inside the soap, I have a piece in there or whatever. Like you crack the soap open, and your piece will be in there. Just because, you know what I'm saying, depends on how they pop the door for your shower. You sometimes take a shower with your peoples, or sometimes if they pop the door the opposite way, sometimes you take a shower with opposite peoples, with your ops. So sometimes the way the doors pop, sometimes I would end up taking a shower with my ops. But I was always ready, right? But you know, shit could happen at any time. So I was sitting up there. I seen crazy shit up there. I seen motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, like straight gangsters, like sleeping with homos and shit, educational purposes. I don't have nothing against nobody for any type of sexual preference they have. You know what I'm saying? That's your life. So I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. So yeah, I have motherfuckers in the middle of the night. You hear motherfuckers screaming, arguing, whatever the case may be. This nigga arguing with his boyfriend in the cell. Crazy shit, you know, like niggas that you never thought would be in there, you know what I'm saying, like doing that type of shit, like, you know, like sleeping with a motherfucker that probably got AIDS or got some type of disease and shit, right? So one time I remember this motherfucker, this dude was in there like 18 years, right? He was, I don't know what word I want to use without, you know what I'm saying, YouTube, educational purpose, taking it the wrong way. So he was a fruit cup or whatever, right? So he was in there for like 18 years. Now, this motherfucker used to fight. That's one thing I can tell you. Don't play with them dudes, bro. Them dudes will put hands on you. Just because they carry themselves a certain way doesn't mean they can't fight. So this dude was in there like 18 years. And through the 18 years, he done laid up with so many dudes, so many street dudes. They were official dudes to the point where he had a note. This dude had AIDS, right? And he had a fucking, like a whole list of all the people he actually had sex with and shit. And like a week before he was going home, after he served like 18 years, they had to put him in PC, pull him out the block and pull him out of there for protection because he dropped a letter saying that these people needed to go check themselves because they had AIDS and shit. And he was sick for so long, and those people most likely had it, and they needed to go check themselves. And it was crazy because you got dudes that got wives at home, you know what I'm saying, are only in for a year, 2, 5 years, whatever the case may be, or either met a girl in jail and they're dating her in jail and they're going to end up going home to her and shit like that, and they're in there doing gay shit and they end up catching a disease and come home and bring it to their wife or their partners, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that was like one of the craziest shit I've seen because at the end of the day, how you in there doing crazy shit as far as sleeping with fruitcakes and shit, and then you catch AIDS, and then your girl thinking you know what I'm saying, you're good, and then you come home and bring her a disease like that. That's not cool. So that was one of the shits that I saw in there I thought was crazy. That, you know what I'm saying, people will go in there with a small bed and end up, you know, I seen guys come in there like 20 years old, straight, not gay or nothing, right? And then next year, like 2 months later, you see them walking around with all the fruit cups outside with their shirt tied up, Kool-Aid in their lips, looking crazy, man. Like, so yeah, I seen a lot of crazy shit as far as that go. Like, there'll be situations when, you know, like I walk in the bathroom and it'll be a curtain with like 4 feet behind a curtain, and you can't really see nothing down on the floor but 2 pair of feet, right? So obviously you got 2 motherfuckers in there sleeping with each other, right? So yeah, shit like that. So that was pretty much some of the shit I saw going in through my first bed. I didn't really get into too much fights. I had to check a few motherfuckers a few times. My first week there, I had a ticket, so I couldn't use the phone or none of that shit, right? So as soon as I got in there, I couldn't use the phone. The blocks wouldn't let me use the phone. I had a ticket. It was still pending. So they take your commissary away, your phones, and shit like that. So as soon as I come in there, boom, I couldn't really use it. So I would go to the gym, and there were phones in the gym, so I would use the phone. So as soon as I got in there, I've been in there like 3 days. The CEO in the block ain't letting me use the phone, so I can't tell my family I got shipped out. So I go to the gym, and I check the phone, and it was going through. So they actually didn't block it. I was able to use it, but the CO on the block won't let me use it because he knew I lost the phones. So what I did was I would use it in the gym because in the gym the COs don't check. Everybody's over there, all the blocks. So it'll be like 100 IDs. Niggas will put the IDs on the phone. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, wait your turn to use the phone or whatever. So motherfuckers will put the ID on the phone, wait for their turn to use the phone. And one day I was mad because I've been there 3 days. My family don't even know I got moved. I can't use the phone in a regular block. So, you know, I kind of like skipped the line. I put my ID at the top of the list. And I was like next on the phone. Mind you, the nigga that was next that I skipped, it was actually before me. He was from my opposite gang, right? So we already knew who they were, whatever the case may be. So, boom, I go grab the phone next, and I take that shit after the nigga hung the phone up. I take the phone, and then the nigga's like, yo, I got next on that phone, B. And I'm like, no, you don't. And he's like, what do you mean? So we got into it, and before I knew it, nigga, I had like 5 niggas from my set come around the corner. And mind you, I'm 18, so everybody used to call me the baby. You know what I'm saying? I was like the baby of the family, right? So they loved me, and I had a reputation that was gold. So my man that was in the other blocks, the one I used to write letters to, that was running shit, he made sure when he came down and he saw me, he made sure he banged on the window, and he told them niggas on the block, like, yo, him right there, that's my little brother. Make sure he's straight. So niggas already knew, like, yo, he good. You know what I'm saying? So I had like 5 niggas come on the corner and just be like, boom, they surrounded the phone, like, yo, what's good? You good? What's going on here? And the nigga was just like, nah, it's good. He had next on the phone. I got after him. You know what I'm saying? But the niggas that came on the corner was my niggas. You know what I'm saying? A few of them niggas had like a crazy reputation. When I tell you crazy, like, them niggas is known for putting in work in jail and in the streets. A few of them been there like 10 years or better. So I was able to, you know, move comfortably, right? And another thing, boom, I'm in there, boom, I get a position, I take over my block. Boom, my man gives me my block, you running that. I'm lieutenant of my block. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 tiers, 1, 2, 3. Boom, I'm in the second tier. And I'm running the whole block, you know what I'm saying? 19 years old, 18 years old, running the whole block in a jail with over 2,500 inmates. So I was always blessed to have those type of, you know what I'm saying? But that's, you know why I was able to bless? Because not only did God always have my back, and I was blessed to have those type of positions and be able to move right in every situation I was in, but I always kept it real. I was always a good nigga, and niggas always recognized that. You know what I'm saying? I always moved right, and I never, you know what I'm saying, like, was the type of nigga that would do some snake shit. My man that was in there, when he was in there, you know, like, I don't know if y'all watched part 1, part 2, part 3, I mentioned that I went in the house and I was paying his mom for the phone calls for him to call from jail. You know what I'm saying? So look what happens. You keep it real with niggas, you go in there, niggas know that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas know what it is, whatever the case may be. And that's why you never can say, you never burn bridges, because niggas be thinking, oh, fuck that nigga, yeah, I ain't fucking with him, this, that, and the third. And then you never know, because look, I ended up going in there, and what happens? Them niggas know, like, yo, Shorty was coming through, bringing my son to the movies, bringing him, you know what I'm saying, on his birthday. He'll call me, he'll bring my son a pair of sneakers, tell him that's from me. You know what I'm saying? So I would do shit like that. So at the end of the day, what happens? You got niggas know you're a real nigga, right? So when you come in there, you never know, especially if you're doing dirt in the streets. You're gonna end up in there sooner or later. So for you to act like you're gonna forget about your niggas and then you go in there and you need your niggas, then you know. Because niggas is gonna know that you kept it real, and then when you come through there, you good, right? So that's what happened. I came in through there, and motherfuckers showed me love off the back. Niggas was like, yo, that's such and such, this, that, and the third. And it was all gravy. So I really didn't get into much shit. I got into one fight one time, not that first, but I got into one fight, one of my cellies. So I can tell you about this, right? It's kind of funny. I'm about to end this because I don't see a lot of people in here and shit. So I'm about to end this with this, right? So I got into a fight with one of my cellies, right? We was cool. We was like cellies for like a year and a half. So what happened was, he used to always play around, this, that, and the third. But his city, my city, used to beef a lot, right? New Haven and Water Bay used to go at it all the time. But me and him was cool. And like I said, I was in the county for a while, so I got cool with a lot of niggas from out of town and shit like that. Especially for them. And a lot of the OGs already knew me from the county. And I sat in the county for a while, so I had a lot of love and respect from a lot of the older heads. So a lot of times, them niggas knew, like, when you got your big homie or your big brother or your big cousin telling you, that's my nigga, whether you're a wild nigga or not, you're going to respect that. You got to. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm from a city that you don't like. So this nigga used to play around too much. We used to wrestle and shit. And we used to, play around and shit. We young, you know how it go. So one day we get up in the morning, we going to school and shit. Boom. He's in the sink brushing his teeth. And I'm dressed, boom, I'm getting ready to brush my teeth. We gotta shoot out for school, but the doors pop. When the doors pop, everybody shoot out to school. You gotta move to school, whatever. So now he's fucking with me. He's taking his time on the sink. And he's taking forever in the sink. He's brushing his teeth, and then he's done. Now I'm like, yo, hurry up, man. I gotta move, man. Let's go. So he's like, oh, wait, I got the sink. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He's playing around and shit, taking his time. So now I'm getting tight. I'm like, yo, this nigga keep playing games, man. So he's in the sink or whatever, taking his time. So I pushed the nigga, right? I pushed him, boom. I pushed the nigga so hard, he fell in between the sink. Boom, he fell in between the sink and the fucking, in the wall and shit. So he falls in between the sink and the wall. And he comes back up out of there on some Russian me type shit. But I'm thinking he gonna wrestle, because we wrestle half of the time. Like, we'll get mad at each other or whatever. We never really swung at each other. We'll kind of just wrestle it out, you know what I'm saying, slam each other up, whatever it is down the third. And we'll let our frustration out like that, right? So I see him, I'm like, damn, this nigga gonna wrestle early in the morning, man. So I start wrestling. Next thing you know, I feel this nigga swinging on me, like, oh, he swung on me, and I'm like, yo, this nigga really swinging on me, like, okay. So he swung on me, boom, I kind of ducked this shit, bah. He hits me over my head type shit, boom. So now we're banging out, right? Because you swinging, so now I'm banging out, boom. So I'm hitting the nigga, bam, bam. Educational purposes, y'all. This is not for, we're not doing this trying to talk about crime and, glorify crimes and violence and shit like that. So anyways, boom, we end up banging out, banging him up, boom, boom, hit him. He grabbed me by my waist. He's pretty much rushing. Boom, we fall on the floor. I got him on the headlock. We hit each other a little bit more. Boom, we get up. And as soon as we get up, he was kind of like woozy and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I got him a few good times. So that's the reason why he ended up dropping and grabbing me by my waist from, you know what I'm saying, from when we was going at it. You know what I'm saying? I banged him up or whatever. He pretty much dropped, grabbed me by my waist and just pushed forward. So, boom, when we fall, I'm still catching him, whatever. Got him in the headlock, we get up. So I'm thinking we're going, you know what I'm saying? We're going to square up again and keep going. And he was just like, yo, boom. And that's just how I used to be. Like, when a lot of times motherfuckers will know we could bang out, shake hands, keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to live in there together. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell. He's not going to tell. We both real niggas. We both know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But now you just know that I don't be playing with me no more, right? So that was one of the fights I had one time in the juvenile. And it was another time. But we'll get into that some other time or whatever. Because I see a lot of people left or whatever. So I don't want to, continue with the story and pretty much not have people up in here listening. So maybe we'll continue next week with the rest of the story. I answer the questions on what y'all think about having a gang structure. If you missed it, go rewind it. Take a look at that. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Omega. 5,000 subscribers, I should get monetized again. Once I get monetized again, 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to end up, giving back. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once we get 5,000 subscribers and I get monetized again, I'm on 30 days. You know what I'm saying? I monetize shit. I got to reapply again in 30 days because the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, reported my shit. So once I get monetized again and I get 5,000 subscribers, make sure you subscribe if you're not, because I'm going to start giving back. You know what I'm saying? Every time I get paid with YouTube, I'm going to find, you know what I'm saying, the person that I'm going to pick. We're going to, you know what I'm saying, play a game or whatever the case may be, and I'm going to give back. I'll cash out somebody some money. So that's how we doing it once we reach 5,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. So, yeah, we're about to end this, man. We're going to continue every Saturday with the lives. You know what it is. I'll do a live every Saturday. Those who don't know, I'll pretty much give you a little bit of my life so you can get to know me, so you know who you subscribe to. Not just somebody who you just watch videos and hear from all the time and don't know nothing about. So that's what I like to do. I like to tell you a little bit about myself. I like to talk about, shit I've been through in my life and why I can relate to a lot of this shit that's going on with these rappers growing up in the streets, gangs, jails, shootouts, whatever the case may be. I've done a little bit of all that. So not to glorify violence in the street life, but more to let you get to know me some, and we could also learn something about what it is we could do different to change our lives, right? Because I don't no longer live like that. So, yeah, I came home after that, and, I pretty much stood away from playing with guns and shit like that. But I still, was thinking that I would be okay with still going back to dealing drugs because I felt like, I didn't get locked up for selling drugs, so I can go back to dealing drugs and be okay. I won't get caught. I was only like 20 by the time I came home, 21. So, I didn't think it was an issue with me going back to dealing drugs. And as long as I didn't play with guns or got into no bullshit with no guns, I'll be fine, right? Even though I was still involved with that type of shit, but not like I was in the past. In the past, I would pick up a gun and do shit just because you part of my hood or any stupid shit just to hold my hood down or whatever the case may be. When I came home the second time, I wasn't really playing guns like that. You know what I'm saying? I would play with a gun if I needed to. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was before I got locked up for a shooting. I was more careful on how I move. But I was still, dipping and dapping. I was still dealing drugs and shit like that. So I was still living a life to where I ended up getting locked up a second time, right? But as I said, as I continue to give you a little bit of my life, you'll get to know more and more. Right now, I'm only into where I just did my first bid. I told you a little bit about shit I went through my first bid. I didn't get too much into it because I saw that a lot of people ended up leaving, so it's okay. I know sometimes people got shit to do, and you can always catch the live a little later. So next week I'll continue with the live of everything that turned out, everything that happened as far as after I got locked up, right? My first bid. So we're gonna leave it at that. Y'all know what it is. Hit that like when you come in. If you're gonna catch this on the upload, drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Omega, and I'm out of here. You heard?